On February 3rd, 2026, Floyd Mayweather filed a lawsuit in California against Showtime Networks and Steven Espinoza, claiming they helped his former advisor, Al Heyman, misappropriate a huge chunk of his fight earnings to the tune of $340 million.
And he had been giving him 50,000 and 50,000 and 50,000. He had already gave Gamboa about 300,000 to chill on the side. And then we ended up, when he did go in, I ended up picking up all the fighters.
Al Heyman was so good at his job that he was clowning these networks. He was out negotiating the networks to the point where they were giving you an inferior product because his fighters were getting overpaid for lesser fights.
We weren't getting overpaid.
In that,
we weren't getting
I'm
overpaid.
happy for every dollar you made.
Freddie Hernandez.
Yeah, right.
This is the golden child of Al Heyman right here.
But it is admirable that Al Heyman not only did his job so well, but was helping fighters get rich while he was doing it. He created a climate where fighters started to begin to believe that they were worth more money. I don't mean to me. You're worth all the money in the world to me, the fighters. But I mean to the marketplace.
My thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you know, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money? Like, I never was in a sport because of money.
Crawford will destroy you. That's the bold jab 50 Cent just threw at Floyd Mayweather. And it all ties into a staggering $340 million lawsuit. What makes this case so shocking is the size of the claim. Floyd isn't pointing to small mistakes. He says there was a deliberate plan that played out over years. The lawsuit says money from some of the biggest fights ever, including the record-breaking Conor McGregor bout, disappeared without explanation. Now, the undefeated champ insists the truth was there for everyone to see all along.
Floyd is stepping into the courtroom to fight for money he claims that he was never paid, and he wants justice on his terms. So let's talk details. Let me tell you about the lawsuits. On February 3rd, 2026, Floyd Mayweather filed a lawsuit in California against Showtime Networks and Steven Espinoza, claiming they helped his former advisor, Al Heyman, misappropriate a huge chunk of his fight earnings to the tune of $340 million. Mayweather says the money is still missing and unaccounted for, and he's now suing Showtime and Espinoza for aiding and abetting breach of fiduciary duty, civil conspiracy to commit fraud. Ooh, that's...
The heart of the controversy is Al Heyman, who used to be Mayweather's trusted advisor. The lawsuit accuses him of betrayal, claiming he secretly funneled fight earnings while keeping Floyd unaware. Missing records, partial documents, and unclear accounts supposedly prevented Mayweather from seeing the full financial picture. For a fighter known for control and exactness, this revelation hit straight at the foundation of his legacy.
Floyd argues that during his legendary career, where he generated $1 billion in revenue plus and pay-per-view money, a significant portion of the funds that he made through those events, through his fights, didn't make it into his hands because they were funneled through accounts controlled by his then advisor, Al Heyman. Now, Mayweather says that Showtime delivered those checks and funds through systems that helped Heyman get the money instead of paying Floyd directly. The lawsuit also points to some of boxing's biggest pay-per-view fights, including fights against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, events that generated hundreds of millions in revenue. Mayweather's legal team said he generated hundreds of millions in revenue for Showtime and now wants to recover what he claims was unfairly taken.
Suspicion deepened when Mayweather brought in a new team. When Richard Schaefer and his team pushed for transparency, Showtime reportedly didn't deliver full financial reports. Missing details were especially concerning for the Manny Pacquiao mega fight and the Conor McGregor crossover event, two of the most profitable fights ever. According to the lawsuit, the numbers just didn't make sense.
Al Heyman himself, the advisor that Mayweather blames for the missing money, is not named as a defendant in the lawsuit. Instead, Mayweather's legal action targets the network and Steven Espinoza. He claims they aided and abetted these alleged financial wrongdoings. So what does this mean, and what's like a potential outcome for this case that's coming up? Well, the lawsuit could have some pretty serious implications, not only for Floyd's legacy, but also for how networks and advisors handle fighter compensations. Mayweather wants hundreds of millions back plus punitive damages, pushing this beyond a simple accounting dispute. If the court rules in his favor, it could open the door to more scrutiny of boxing's behind-the-scenes financial relationship.
Now, this lawsuit could reveal the truth behind boxing's biggest paydays. With $340 million allegedly missing and possible damages set to rise, the case has the potential to shake the sport. As fans take in the claims, figures like 50 Cent are stirring things up, turning a financial fight into a high-profile public drama with careers and reputations at stake.
Some promotion company wants.
Yeah.
What happened with the boxing promotion company?
That really happened, Ken, because of my relationship with Floyd. You know what I mean? I didn't have interest in being a promoter, like, out the gate. It was just, he was doing Mayweather promotions at the time. And then he had to do 90 days. He was going to jail. And he had fighters, he had Marcus Gamboa, he had guys that was just lingering. I'm like, champ, if they're going to leave. If you go to jail, they're just going to leave. Like,
right.
And he had been giving them 50,000 and 50,000 and 50,000. He had already gave Gamboa about 300,000 to chill on the side. And then we ended up, when he did go in, I ended up picking up all the fighters.
Right.
And so Marcus Gamboa, I had James Kirkland, Andre Durrell, Billy Dip. He was the IBF champion at that point, and then a few other guys younger guys that I picked up.
Never one to stay quiet, 50 Cent immediately turned Floyd Mayweather's lawsuit into a public joke. Building on years of online digs, the rap star didn't just mock Floyd, he even suggested a blunt solution. On Instagram, 50 argued that the only way to recover the missing $340 million was to step back into the ring for two massive fights that would dominate the headlines. He wrote, "Oh no, don't cry now, champ. They beat you out of $320 million, you dumb. I told you, let me read the contracts. Now lace up. You got to look good fighting, Mike. Then maybe we can get Bud Turen Crawford to beat you for some big money." Caught at the center of all this is Ul Heyman, a figure Max Kellerman once called one of the most powerful forces boxing has ever known. Max explained that Heyman's influence reshaped the sport in ways fans didn't always like. Fighters were paid early and well, risk almost disappeared, and many high-profile matchups were delayed or never happened. The business thrived, but it left many wondering, did boxing lose some of its competitive spark?
Al Heyman was so good at his job that he was clowning these networks. He was out negotiating the networks to the point where they were giving you an inferior product because his fighters were getting overpaid for lesser fights.
We weren't getting overpaid.
In that,
we weren't getting
I'm happy for every dollar you made.
Freddie Hernandez.
Yeah, right.
This is the golden child of Al Heyman right here.
But it is admirable that Al Heyman not only did his job so well, but was helping fighters get rich while he was doing it. He created a climate where fighters started to begin to believe that they were worth more money. I don't mean to me. You're worth all the money in the world to me, the fighters. But I mean to the marketplace than they actually were. And so now it became difficult to make fights.
I mean, you really want us to change our mindset, right? The fact that we were putting our health in jeopardy every time we stepped in that ring. So we had to make sure to get every penny that we could.
Andre Berto then spoke up, showing how messy and unfair the business side of boxing could be. He suggested that Ul Heyman's approach wasn't harming fighters, it was actually shielding them. Max Kellerman disagreed, pointing out that while the strategy worked perfectly for Heyman, it still left real challenges for the fighters. As the debate grew, Turki Alalshik stepped in, promising a new system with bigger opportunities, bigger stages, and more transparent pay.
Every time we stepped in there. I mean, that's the mindset that he put in our minds on a regular basis.
And good for him. But when he does his job that well, then Andre Berto doesn't have to take the best fights to make the money, and now me as the consumer doesn't get to see the best Andre Berto fights. My point is, fighters started thinking that the market was different than it really was, because Al was juicing the market. In that climate, big fights stopped getting made, because fighters are thinking, I'm making all this money for not taking a risk. You want me to fight that killer, or their managers want me to fight that killer for not much more money? Into that terrible situation for the consumer stepped Turki Al-Sheikh, who said, oh, okay, wait, what are your petty differences? It's over $1 million or $2 million? Here it is. Here's my gift to the boxing world. Everyone take this.
But the situation gets even more complicated. Even with Turki Al-Sheikh offering fighters enough money to make major matchups happen, some fights still aren't taking place. That brings up bigger questions. Max Kellerman highlights the long-awaited Virgil Ortiz versus Boots fight, a matchup fans desperately want but still can't see. Now, focus is turning to Zufar Boxing, a new model that could completely reshape the sport.
Now the problem is...
He's overpaying. Like I said, I'm not mad at that. If you're going to give me the money, we're going to fight whoever you want me to fight.
But Trey, now the problem is Boots and Virgil can't get made for $6 million plus for the fighters? You think the average person on the street in this country knows who Boots and Virgil are?
Meanwhile, 50 Cent's latest comments raise an even bigger question. Is a fight between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather quietly in the works? He hinted that moves might already be happening behind the scenes, drawing fans into a new era where controversy grabs attention while true plans remain hidden. Beneath the jokes and public digs, a long-running conversation is unfolding about how Crawford and Mayweather's paths could cross, and whether 50's recent posts are signs that something is already being set in motion.
A lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd, and I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
yes,
fight.
Yes, sir. I love you, Terrence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ in
but
that
the funny thing about it is Terrence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody
somewhere.
got a pioneer, right? Yeah, you gotta.
There's an OG you can't out-figure out somewhere. And I just believe Floyd is that OG you can't out-figure.
On the other hand, Terence Crawford isn't interested in chasing comeback fights for huge paydays. Unlike Floyd Mayweather, he's made it clear that no offer, $80 million or $100 million, would bring him back. For Crawford, going after money would feel like compromising his values. He's focused on the sport itself, aiming for greatness, and in his eyes, he's already reached it. Meanwhile, Floyd's multiple returns have built the money-focused reputation he's known for.
My thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you know, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money? Like, I never was in a sport because of money, you know? Of course, I was in a sport to make money, but I wanted to be a world champion. You know, I wanted to do something that I set my sights out to do as a little boy. Money wasn't the motivation. Me being a world champion was the motivation.
Crawford has been clear about his priorities. He's already achieved the dream he had as a child, to become a world champion. Nothing else matters to him. In his eyes, chasing money now would mean compromising his values and losing his dignity. He refuses to take that path, staying true to his principles and protecting the legacy he's built through hard work and genuine accomplishment in the sport.
Me accomplishing all the things that I've accomplished along the way on my journey, you know, it was extra credit. It was extra credit because it's coming from the hood. It was like, man, I just want to be a world champion because that's just my dream. So when I became a world champion, it was just like, man, all this other stuff is like a cherry on the top. Like, you know what I mean? I did what I set my sights out to do. Wow. It was evident that I wasn't gonna let nothing stand in the way of me accomplishing that goal in my life. My mom telling me all the time, you need to get a plan B. You need to go to school. Man, you know me in school don't rock. What I'm going to school for?
Y'all lay tight.
I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna get in the fight. I'm gonna get kicked out of college.
Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather's latest lawsuit shines a harsh light on boxing's broken system. He claims that money from his biggest fights, including Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, was funneled into accounts controlled by Al Haymon. Years later, when his new team asked Showtime for records, they were told the documents were lost in a flood. Now suing Showtime and Steven Espinosa for fraud, civil conspiracy, and unjust enrichment, Floyd is also seeking punitive damages. His attorney Bobby Samini said, Floyd is one of boxing's biggest pay-per-view draws. He generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for Showtime. At 50, retired and undefeated, Mayweather is now taking the fight to the courtroom, determined to recover what he says is rightfully his. While Showtime has long been the top platform for fighters worldwide, this lawsuit exposes what really happens behind the scenes. If Crawford ever weighs in, it could spark even more questions about promoters, managers, and fighter contracts. Opinions on Floyd's legacy are mixed. Many, including Keith Thurman, see him more as a businessman than a pure athlete, strategically chasing money at every turn rather than focusing only on the sport.
Some of your best fights happen under the Showtime platform. Can you share a little bit of your take on what's going on with Mayweather? He's suing Showtime for $340 million.
Nah, we don't care. It was just a money man trying to get more money and had a lot of money and did dumb things with money, and it is what it is, man. Rich people got rich people problems. I ain't mad at it.
Questions about the legitimacy of Floyd Mayweather's lawsuit keep mounting. Many wonder if he's turning personal grievances into another public drama. The situation is even more complicated because he isn't suing Al Haymon directly. He's going after Showtime, the company that allegedly funneled money to Haymon. How did Floyd not notice this over his entire career? And if he did receive the money, where did it actually go? Now, doubts about timing, awareness, and intent loom over his claims.
I don't know whether or not Al Haymon did any of this or not. This is an accusation made in a civil court by Floyd Mayweather Jr., not even against Al Haymon. We'll see where exactly and why, I don't know, he wouldn't sue Al Haymon. He's suing the people that paid Al Haymon the money and appropriated it to Al Haymon instead of to Floyd Mayweather Jr. directly. We would have to understand the contractual relationships between those parties to see whether or not this is something that Floyd should have known about or did know about or maybe did not understand. Because it seems very, very funny that Floyd would not know that the money was getting paid to Al Haymon and not directly to him.
From 50 Cent's shocking comments to the chaos around Floyd Mayweather's $340 million lawsuit, the boxing world is on fire. Crawford sticks to his own path, turning down comeback fights for money, while Floyd keeps stirring controversy and making headlines. Could 50 Cent's jabs be hinting at a Crawford versus Mayweather fight quietly in the works? What do you think, real or just hype? Drop a comment, hit like, share, and subscribe for all the latest boxing updates.